Jager is the new pan-European campaign ship, so how should you play it and how should you build it? Let's dive on into a game for you to see. Wait, crap, no, wrong game. It just looks so much like a lower tier destroyer that has failed divisioned its way into tier 7, and I'll be honest, some of the stats do suggest that. For example, the health on this vessel, 14,310 with our current build, which is only 3,000 more than that G101 we showed just then, which is a tier 3 ship. It's a bit weird. Anyway, let's go into the loadout. We're going to be running Aiming System Mod 1, Propulsion Mod, Concealment Mod, and Torpedo Mod. We will be running the Legendary Mod because, well, the ship does need all of the help that it can get. Consumables, well, you get your damage con, you get 2 engine boosts, which will get you up to 43 knots, 2 heals that are worth 2,000 health each, and 2 torpedo reload boosters, which will help you flood the entire world with torpedoes. Our commander we are running is Stig Eriksson. We are running Eric Bay and Space Fishy as the 2 inspirations. His base trait will reduce engine boost cooldown time and help with torpedo damage. Then the skills we are running with him are going to be Subsurface Venture, Fragile Threat, Perceptive, Sheltered Arms, and that legendary skill is going to be Unstoppable. And yes, there are probably some edits you could make in there, whether if you wanted to boost your reload speed of those torpedoes by a little bit, or giving up a little bit more of your concealment for a little bit more health. But with Jager, it's very important to go for that health, so that's sort of the build we are doing. Let's get into this game, because we've arrived in the cap, and as you can see, it's a bit of an interesting game, one that you probably wouldn't think Jager would excel in, because there are 4 destroyers on each team, and let's be clear, Jager, not exactly the king of hunting destroyers, but that's why we have Perceptive. It's going to let us know at least where the closest destroyer is. The key with Jager is to be in this sort of exit position. If you have really good concealment, what you can do is you can provide spotting for your team. And not that we're going to be providing spotting as Ostergotland gets spotted here, but as destroyers push into you, you can spot them, and hopefully your teammates are nearby, and they can assist you with killing that destroyer. Because the way I want you to think about playing Jager is it's an observation platform that has torpedoes. Like, its biggest strength is going to be its spotting and putting itself in a place where it can spot the most for the enemy, and then using those torpedoes to take out any battleships who dare push in. Now, if you do have to use those guns, let's go ahead and talk about them, because they are surprisingly useful. I did not expect them to be as effective as they are. You have 3 one-barreled 150 millimeter guns. They have a 4.4 second reload, which is about 41 rounds per minute. HE damage on them is 2,200 with an 11% chance to set fire. And the AP will do 2,950 damage. And I'll just say, you are surprisingly good at taking out other torpedo boats. I think basically your advantage for not having smoke as a destroyer, what that grants you is the ability to do damage to other torpedo boats and to beat them out in a 1v1 fight. You're not going to beat any gunboat out, but just the fact that you are able to kind of hold your own with the vast majority of other high concealment torpedo boats is a mark in Jager's favor, which I was like not expecting for it to be a benefit when we first were kind of teased this vessel. The main armament, it should be said, of this ship, though, is of course those torpedoes. It has 4 3-barreled 533 millimeter launchers, so giving you 12 torpedoes. Not the most at the tier, looking at you, Udaloy, but you have a 62-second reload on them with our build, 12-kilometer range, 93 knot top speed. For all those benefits, you know we're going to be doing very, very little damage. And, well, that maintains the truth here at only 7,000 damage, which, like I said, not a ton, but it does the job, especially if you can stack those torpedoes and get floods as the Ostagotland goes down, and we can kind of start to push back into D. We can start kind of commentating on this game. We're down one ship. That's okay. We do have the active fun police in the game, i.e. the aircraft carriers, and they will come into play at the end of this match. But D appears to be cleared. We can now push in and try to finish him off. We sent out a salvo of torpedoes towards Andrea Doria. The idea just being throw it out there, see if you get a hit, if you can force a damage con to be cycled. If we can do that, we might have a chance at getting some pretty good damage. As Jervis pops up here, he smokes up. No one else is within our gunfiring range, so we'll go ahead and take the free shot as we pick up, I think, a hit on Andrea Doria, which we will take. Unfortunately, no damage con, no flooding there, so we're not going to be dealing with the damage con, but he's sort of telegraphing his position as of current, and this is something you have to kind of play in mind with when you are up against a Jaeger. Is I think Andrea Doria looked at us and was like, oh, I got hit by the Jaeger torps. That Jaeger, he's all the way over in D. I don't need to really worry about that anymore. And he's going to, kind of telegraph his position and not really care about the fact that more torpedoes could be on its way. And when you're up against a Jaeger, torpedoes can always be on their way again, even when you're halfway across the map from where you just spotted this Jaeger. And they can get to you in a reasonable amount of time because they're going nearly 100 knots. They can be pretty deadly, as we, Andrea Doria finds out there with 4 torpedo hits, 2 floods, and our first kill of the game. We do get picked up by the aircraft here, and one of the big downfalls of Jaeger is its AA. It's not great, guys. It's not great. The max damage, i.e. if a plane is within 1 kilometer, your total damage per second to that plane is 13. To give you an idea of how bad that is, to take down 1 dive bomber from Saipan, which I think you could arguably say is probably one of the most common aircraft carriers in the game that you see, it would take 293 seconds to take down 1 dive bomber from Saipan. To extrapolate that out, to take down a full squadron from Saipan, it would take 29 minutes of those planes being within 1 kilometer of you. Not great. Not great at all. As we're going to take this nice torpedo strike on Nelson. We've also gone ahead and put out our second salvo, used that torpedo reload booster, and, well, we will see how that progresses for the health of our friend Nelson over there. One other nice thing about Jaeger is the size that comes with it being this tiny, tiny, nearly tier 2 little ship. Is because you're such a small, sort of outdated design, you do have an inherently harder hull to hit, right? Look how small that freeboard is, i.e. the distance from the ship above the waterline. It's not exactly the biggest area to hit. And as a result, Jaeger, surprisingly difficult to nail down when it is spotted, assuming you are maneuvering correctly. And to be fair to it, it does need all of the advantages it can get. Speaking of advantages, you may notice we're not exactly in a great spot here. The enemy team has controlled the majority of the map, and the 4 ships remaining are all on this corner. Thankfully, we're going to relieve some of that pressure on our team by taking out Nelson, and now our next victim, as we get a 3rd tick on our torpedo reload, is going to attempt to be this Bismarck, though it does look like our team may be able to handle him. They do. So now we are on to, well, the 3 destroyers that are remaining, which we do need to be cautious about. And, well, there's this anchorage around here. And, well, he's in smoke. We all know what happens when you're in smoke. It becomes a torpedo magnet. And who are we? Who are we, us poor Jager players, to deny this smoke screen of a couple of metal fishes towards it, especially when we can see about where he currently is. We'll go ahead and launch some torpedoes his direction and then try to maneuver to help with taking out some of these destroyers, as thankfully it does look like a good chunk of them are at least a little bit low on health. Also, their carrier, we end up spotting him again, this time in sea, and, well, it is tempting to go after him, but we need to sort of support our team as we pick up 1 hit on that anchorage, and looks like he's gotten the memo as we pick up a 2nd hit right here, making it so that he is all but dead, and that means we're going to have to risk it for the biscuit. We're going to go ahead and use our main guns on anchorage here. If we can do that, we've arguably taken away the majority of their DPM ability, right? If we can get rid of him, his guns aren't focused on us. We can wipe him out, and now we are clear to be a bit more aggressive up against these destroyers, especially this wolf pack that is over here. Akatsuki, we're going to go ahead, launch some torpedoes his direction. That carrier, I think he's gotten the memo, and if we look at his heading now, I think he is headed straight towards the edge of the map, which I don't 100% blame him for. Jervis pops up off the side. We know he's been low health. We had been worrying about the location of his other destroyer, so we're going to try finish Jervis off right here with a salvo, see if we can get a lucky hit. We do end up scoring that hit. That brings us up to 4 kills total, and we are actually, for once, up on the ship advantage, though it's not looking good because that carrier is headed straight out as our torpedo ends up picking up the final kill for the Kraken. And that clears us to now head straight for that enemy carrier, though, spoiler alert, guys, sadly, we are not going to be able to catch up to him. Our carrier will end up going down from a strike, and there's not really much else we can do. We are completely behind on points, on control of the whole map, and, well, that's pretty much going to be the game. As far as my final thoughts on Jager, is this the best destroyer at tier 7? God, no. It is interesting to play. It is definitely an acquired play style and one that is going to have you relying on your team. Just be prepared that this thing will be out there, and if you have a clever Jaeger captain, it could be a little bit of a nightmare to deal with, but given its low health, it should be able to be countered fairly easily. Anyways, guys, if you like this video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. See ya.